That is so cool.
I took it to a car show last summer, and I just like, I brought it out of storage. I
Yeah.
never touched it. Just like ended up taking it to a car show. It still had leaves and mouse nests on it and stuff. Like,
I would do the same thing.
I didn't know why mess with it.
But yeah, there's like a, this opens the vent on the cowl, and here's my high beam, low beam. It's got a race car brake pedal, but it's just a Chrysler master cylinder. I just welded some nuts onto a GM pedal for the horn button. Oh.
That's so cool.
The horn is one of the horns out of the Impala, because that's all I had.
Throttle. That way you can give her the nuts.
Yeah.
And I stuck with real wood floorboards. Nikki and I we varnished them and burned them and sealed them.
That's cool.
I was going to hook the reverse light onto this thing somehow, but I just never did. So there's no actual reverse lights.
This thing is so much fun.
Nikki doesn't even mind riding in it.
I don't. It's a little rough on the back.
It'll be better once I get an actual seat pad and I'm not just sitting on both cushions.
The overflow can is fitting.
Yeah, it's alright. It's got a really good fan in it, a Spal, so I don't have problems with the cooling.
Oh,
I don't remember where this came from. I think Tom had this too. It's an Oldsmobile grill shell. And then we had this metal at work. This is just stainless. It's stainless grating from a grill on a machine or something. Right. And then I took the radiator, or the shell, down to, there's a place in Rochester that does radiators. They do custom radiators.
Yeah.
And he had just tried to use generic hot rod radiator. You can sit in there and fit perfect.
That's so cool.
So I just painted the radiator black, put it behind that stainless.
Wow. There's the back cam on. So what is this? A 1925 model?
25 model GT. It's the tall truck.
Yep. I like it all like that.
It's off it a little bit.
Did ya?
Yeah, there's two little windows like that.
Okay.
But what he did is there's like, you go in when I just get inside, it's easier to see how much of the flow is.
Since this panel unbolts, it's cut here and lowered here, most of one of the heights of the windshield.
I see.
He's just got that little strip. The top still flips out.
Yep.
Huh. That's so cool.
So you got air conditioning.
So yeah, now you can see like the wood better.
Mm-hmm.
Where we
Bullet holes.
We just burned it. That's the same wood that is what I'm putting in that truck. And I think
Okay.
I'm going to do the same treatment to it. Molly, don't let Molly. This has poison in it.
she's in the house anyway
Yeah.
right now.
And when I built this, I wanted something that was a rat rod that was still just kind of comfortable to drive, not too hard to get in and out of, and a little bit of a race
Still
car
like you got the
theme.
bird shit on there from the car show last time.
Yeah, I was telling Tony about that. We just took it there with bird shit on it, and the carburetor looks all patina because it was leaking juice or something.
So neat.
The one thing I wanted to do to that other one, I wanted to take a Porta Power
Mm-hmm.
and do leaf spring suspension in the whole thing, but I have a Porta Power in there so you could drop frame right? And then you just climb in and you turn the valve and you pump it up and it raises it back up. Just where the spring mounts on the frame,
Right.
have a horsepower there that moves it.
Right.
This, so these cabs are like, they call them like a phone booth cab or something because they're so narrow.
Uh-huh.
So in order to have leg room, I just drilled all the rivets out and I extended the cowl out, but just whatever, crude, but left all my rivets exposed.
No,
So
that's cool.
that way there's a reasonable amount of leg room in it.
Yeah, you want some leg room. About the coolest thing ever.
This visor was the old seat base. Yeah, then
Wrench for the mirror bracket.
and the factory Ford frame goes to the back of the cab. And it's actually 4-link with a panhard.
Mm-hmm.
The rear suspension is actually kind of cool. So it's like the only production car that really used it was some of the Camaros used the suspension, and it's called a torque arm, where it just has lower links, and then it's got a panhard bar, and then if you look underneath, it has a link that bolts around the differential, and that goes up to the transmission or up to the training area, the cross member,
Oh, okay.
and then there's just an up and down biscuit there.
Uh-huh.
So it'll never, ever, ever wheel hop by this suspension design. And it transfers the weight because that torque arm reaches all the way up and is trying to lift up in the middle of the car.
I see.
In the circle track world, they call it lift arm, but actually, it was the only vehicle, like I said, I think production was the certain years of Camaros did it. But yeah, the whole back of the frame, then it's all tubular. And I did a top 2 rails, a big bar over a little bar, triangulated with some, like, whatever they call it, bridge work.
Where'd you find that?
I got a bunch of them. A guy over by Elysian was cleaning out his barn. They were using it as chicken nesting boxes.
Mm-hmm.
I still have a bunch that I'm using as nesting boxes.
That's pretty cool.
I want to put a fuel gauge on it. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet. Because it does kind of suck not knowing how much.
What you should do, well, you could potentially do it, drill and tap the bottom of this, put a T there, and put a clear line between it.
Glass, yeah.
Yeah. But this is heavy enough. You could drill and tap that
Yeah,
and put
probably. Pipe fitting in there.
a pipe fitting in there.
And this just is wet enough where it just sweats, but it never smells gassy, so I don't know turpentine getting out of there. And this, I welded a fitting into that elbow, so it actually goes in. There's a pickup that goes to the bottom of the tank.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, 15-gallon fuel cell.
It's a cool fuel cell.
Electric fuel pump. The electric fuel pump let me keep a little cleaner up at the engine.
Mm-hmm.
Because then I don't have the fuel line running up at the front for mechanical. I just have the fuel runs up the back or somewhere. I'm trying to remember now.